Alright everyone, Josh here, as always, co-founder, lead game designer at Attitudes, Team Kaizen, and Genium. I'm reaching out to the community for some help here because with my rides, I am running into a tiny bit of an issue. During the beta, when I would build a ride, I would put a single camera on one of the seats just so you could experience what it'd be like on ride. People commented on my rides and said, hey, would it be cool if you programmed in the ability for like 3 different camera views per ride so that way we could see it from multiple angles? And I thought that was a pretty fair request. So I'm trying to do that now, and you'll see why I'm having issues. So first of all, I have one here, and before people ask, yes, I scoped all the way in to the actual seat before I added the camera. So, that avoids problems I had during the beta. But the thing is, when I did that during the beta, I had a really clean setup. Like, you would see the on-ride point of view while the ride was moving, and then once my battery to it, which is basically I'm using these switches on the timeline up here as batteries, to kind of steal Little Big Planet phrasing there. But once the battery stopped sending power to the camera, it would just take it back to your controllable character, which I'm just using the stock puppet there. And you'd be able to walk around, go to the next ride, whatever. Excuse me. And so I have a text displayer that pops up L1 R1 change camera angle while that's going. My selector, or like my controller to the selector, like this is what notices the L1 and R1. The selector that goes to these three, and the selector is powered by that giant battery up there. So no power goes out to any of these right now until I turn it on. And so you'll see what the problem I'm having there. And then to kind of show the other side of this, on my inversion, I did it my traditional way, which is here's the battery for the camera right there. That is attached to a single camera. So right now this one only has one view, and it's on this seat. So you'll see the differences there. And one of the things that's a problem is that even though my turbo ride seat camera is not always getting power, after any other camera transition, it will try to force me to transition back to this one, even though it's not getting power. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and I would love everyone else to help me correct me on that. And FYI, I'll show you too, but my other 2 cameras are right here from the control booth, like you're controlling it, and then kind of a cinematic one where you're about right here and seeing the ride from like a drone point of view. And then at the tail end, I have a tiny little battery because it was one of my attempted fixes. This tiny battery uh, powers the camera that's right here and aims you right back at the control booth to kind of bring you back into control of your character. For whatever reason, that didn't really help either. But so let's go ahead and show you first the inversion. And yeah, they kind of walk up the stairs in a weird way. I made those stairs a little too big, but I'm still happy with them. You can see that the floor is lowering and the ride's starting to spin. Which on the upside, this does capture the feeling of being on an inversion pretty well. Although I'll say the seat rocking at the end is maybe a tad intense, so I might tighten the bolts on those a little bit. This right here, this feels exactly what it's like to be on an inversion. Nice, airy negative G's through the air, and then really heavy positive G's across the deck. And like I said, the seat flipping is a little violent there, which actually I know people who own an inversion who actually turn the seat flipping off on theirs because in the real life ride too, if you let it go too loose, it can get really intense flipping and can actually be uncomfortable to ride. But you can also like dampen the flipping so that it's not flipping at the full speed it could be. So I'm thinking about doing that. Just turning the tightness of that bolt up a little bit because I like the flipping, just not that freely. Now we're in our stop phase. and you'll see the first of different problems I'm having. Now the floor has come back up. Now it should transition back to the player, but it doesn't, and I don't know why, because the camera's not getting power anymore, but the camera will give me control back once I tilt the stick and start moving around. Then it pulls the camera back, and then it gives me control back. But the thing is, the camera wasn't getting power anymore, and in the beta, once the camera stopped getting power, it would go back to the character. And I don't know why it's not doing that for me anymore, because it was really convenient when it was doing that. Now I'll show you my issues with, so, by the way, on that, if anyone can help me figure out how to solve that and get it so that it just automatically goes back to the character at the end of that cycle, that would be a big help. Now on to Turbo, my real problem child right here. So as you can see, the L1, R1 works very well. So there we're seeing it from the control booth, from the drone level, and camera transitions work both ways. So while it's going, it just seems really wicked and awesome and doing everything that we want it to be doing. You got to figure out that once we get scenery in here, it'll look amazing. Where you're like going upside down over the tops of trees and stuff. And then I'm going to transition to the drone view so we can see it as it slows down. And you'll see it has the same problem, that when it comes to a stop, it won't immediately give me back my character. In this case, it will try to, because I have that final camera set up that will look straight at the control booth. But once I do that, then it will keep trying to force me into my seat view, even though I don't want it. And I can't figure out why it's doing that. And I believe it's in its slowdown sequence right now. So in a second here, it will take us down to the control booth. So there, control booth, stepped off the button, coming out. And see, it's like forcing us into the seat, but the seat battery isn't receiving any power. And then it's like just going around all weird like that. I can't tell if it's positional or... And now that I've run around a little bit, it seems to have... Oh no, there we go again. So it's catching on again. And I don't know why, because if you look at the logic of it, it's not receiving power anymore. And I think if I go ride inversion again, I think it will try to force it at the end of that. Let's double check that. So there goes the floor, there starts the spinning. So I'm sure that once one of you, lets me know what I did wrong, I'm sure I'll be bonking myself on the head and it was some easy fix. But right now it's driving me mad. So I would really appreciate any help. But I do need to take a second and appreciate the fact that I got a KMG inversion working in Dreams. This thing is just beautiful, and you feel the G's going across that deck. And in real life, I'm sure it's 3 or 4 G's that you hit going across that, and it's just such an amazing feeling. And yeah, I'm definitely going to have to tighten those bolts up just a little bit. Like I'm maybe 10-20% just to get the violentness of that down just a tad. But so, once the ride's done and the ride floor comes back up, we will probably see it pull the same crap where it's trying to force it to the other camera on Turbo. Here comes the ride floor. Then I'll move my character to force the camera to come back. And sometimes when I'm done writing inversion, it will shoot all the way over here and try to make me go back into that camera on turbo. I think this is the seat. So yeah, I haven't fully figured out what exactly is triggering the issues here and why it's happening. But if you guys and gals could help me problem solve this and fix it, I'd be eternally grateful because I want to get these. See there, now it's like forcing to the other camera. No idea why. And there, it seems to be kind of a proximity thing once I get away from it. But it's weird because they're all wired up to logic. They shouldn't be a proximity thing. So if you could help me fix this, everyone, I would love to get these rides out to the public soon. The two of them, Scrambler here, which of course it's gonna no give control back to my character. Well, anyway, Scrambler there and Crazy Dance here need a tiny bit more artwork before I'm done with them. But the rest of them are basically ready to go. I just need to add the camera angles and get the environment pretty, and then get it out there because I want to see what you all do with these when you remix them and update them yourselves with your own art and your own stylings. So let me know how to fix my problem. Thank you very much.